We're back with another movie review, guys.
Yes, right.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, we checked it out.
Yes, we did.
I was really waiting for this movie to come out because it's Quentin Tarantino's 9th movie. He said he's only going to do 10.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's it. Only 10 movies.
Okay. Well,
and
I hope
you
the
know,
last one is better.
Oh, damn, already taking shots. Already taking shots at Quentin Tarantino. And anyway, so let's start with the good about this movie. Okay, this movie takes place in the 60s, stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt. They're both in the movie industry. Brad Pitt is a stuntman. Leonardo DiCaprio is he's like a TV star.
Right.
And they're kind of friends, but also like work partners, and they work together. Brad Pitt is pretty much Leonardo DiCaprio's stuntman.
Stuntman and assistant and driver and friend.
His antenna broke in the ceiling.
Like he's everything for Leonardo DiCaprio, which is it's kind of weird to see him doing that part. You know,
it
like
is.
he's
It's
such
kind
a
of funny.
Yeah,
he's such a famous actor.
Yeah.
To see him as kind of like this handyman, you know, is kind of hilarious.
Like handyman and kind of like a, I don't know, like a freaking servant for Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is that he's a stuntman, but I don't remember like one time him doing a stunt for him.
No,
not one time.
I
right?
mean they show clips here and there, like that he's supposed to do it, but he never really show what he did.
It's more like he's just driving him around.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's start with the good. I thought the chemistry between those two characters, those two actors, seeing them both in the same movie, this is the first time they act together. They're such good actors, and it was just entertaining to watch the both of them.
Yes, I agree with that.
You agree with that?
I agree with that. That part, I totally agree. Like, Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt saved this movie.
They saved
this movie. I can say that. You know, the acting was fabulous. It was great. You know, especially Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, he has so many different type of parts to play in this movie. You know. And his emotions were like super real.
Yes.
And you know, and like from what I have seen in the acting world, you know, it's freaking
it's hard.
Really hard.
It's hard.
It's really hard to become a famous person, you know. So all these emotions that Leonardo DiCaprio goes through and everything that he does, every single play, you know, different acting, it was great. It was great. He really did an amazing job. So that, you know, captured me to kind of enjoy the movie a little bit.
To keep watching
To
really enjoy it. I totally agree. You know, Leonardo DiCaprio, he's played a lot of great roles. He's very good at playing crazy. He's very good at playing intense, like crazy, like Shutter Island. I don't know if you saw that one.
I think
Wolf of Wall Street, he was like intense, but in control, in charge. But this one was a totally different role for him because he was very vulnerable in this role, even though he was like the star in Hollywood, not a big star, but like a TV star.
Exactly.
But he still felt very insecure. That vulnerability, that insecurity of, did I do a good job in this scene? Am I gonna have my lines down packed for today's shoot or for the shoot the next day? You know, there's so many scenes that he's just trying to get by. He's just trying to survive in Hollywood. And he's just trying to find his way in Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, and the funny, you know, it's funny to see him rehearsing the lines.
Right.
The way that they used to rehearse, it's just, I think that was hilarious.
He had that big tape recorder playing it back, drinking a margarita, you know.
Yeah, he was just crazy.
And there's a couple of scenes where he kind of like breaks down. And you see his vulnerability. And it's like, you know what? Wow, he did a great job in this movie.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But the way he breaks down, I mean, my favorite part when he breaks down was like that little girl that she was acting in a show with him or something like that movie. You know, it was so funny because the girl, first of all, this girl, I don't know her name, but she did really a good job too.
She did a good job acting with him.
Yeah, acting with him. Really good, but she like kind of was so serious, you know, and he was like, "Oh my god," you know, like breaking down.
Yes.
Like instead of being the other way around.
Yeah, this is a spoiler-free review, but there's this one part where he kind of flips out at himself.
Oh
like,
my!
He's so mad at himself. I freaking love that scene. He's just so pissed off at himself, and the way he did it was so real. So real. Like, you ever been in a situation where you do something stupid and then you're just so mad at yourself, like, how did I do that?
Yeah.
He played that so good. And this is a comedy, and that's what works about this movie, is that it's a comedy because they play it so real. that they can't help but it looks funny in a way.
Yeah.
Because you believe that they're really going through that.
Yeah.
That he's really going through that struggle.
Exactly.
So the cast was great. Brad Pitt also did a good job in his scenes. He did a very good job, especially for somebody who's that big a star to play that role. Humble. He's a stunt man living this really normal life with his dog.
Really, really normal. I mean, the way he lives in this movie is just, I'm like, oh my God, it's like to the extreme. Like Leonardo DiCaprio has this beautiful Hollywood home, in the hills, and then Brad Pitt freaking lives in a trailer,
In a trailer.
It was really kind of sad,
sad.
because that's the truth. That's really the truth, and I'm sure it's still the truth. These actors trying to make it, by just being a stuntman or doing small roles, and they're not really making any money.
What I really liked about this movie is that it really shows that side of Hollywood that you see people on TV and you think automatically, wow, they got it made.
Yeah.
Or they living the good life, or they're doing it big, blah blah blah. They're on the show, but behind the scenes, behind the cameras and all that stuff, it's like, wow, these people are just trying to survive in Hollywood. And they have all of these insecurities. Am I getting too old? Am I going to get the next part? Am I going to be in the next movie? Is my career over? That constant stress that people think that once you make it into a TV show, you're good. But that's not the case.
That's not the case.
That's not the case. It's a very tough industry.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start talking about the bad, what we didn't like about this movie. I felt like, all right, the characters were good. But the second act of this movie just felt like it was drifting into nowhere.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure where this movie was going. There wasn't enough tension or drama or a story strong enough to keep this movie going.
Yeah, that's the part that really, really bothered me about this movie. You have great actors and, probably a great story, but there was no, real plot that really captured you and wanted you to know what happened. It was just, all over. All over. There was things that didn't make sense throughout the movie, And it didn't really have, even at the end, it got crazy at the end.
Yeah,
and
crazy.
I it was crazy at the end, and I kind of enjoyed the craziness because... Yeah. It just made you okay, something was worth in this movie,
something happened.
Something happened, but throughout the whole movie, and it was a long movie.
2 hours and 45 minutes.
Yeah, it was a long movie.
That could have been cut down. I felt like it could have been cut down.
At one point, I was like, okay, seriously, let's just finish this movie.
Yeah,
because I did like the acting part. I enjoyed that. Like seeing that, but just the story of the movie was just not strong enough.
It was all over the place, and which is weird because it's kind of based on real events.
Which now I know that.
So that being said, I feel like that the movie could have been geared more around the events, but they focused more on these characters and hanging out with these characters. It was like a laid back movie. It was kind of like a hangout movie. It's something different that we don't see nowadays in today's movies, because in today's movies it's just getting to the next thing, getting to the next plot point, getting to the next story arc, and then some of the subplots in this movie too didn't add up. Like with Margot Robbie's character, I thought at the end there was going to be more payoff for her character, or something was going to happen with her character, but you could have taken her character out of this movie and it would have been the same in a way.
Well, I think, now that I know more of the true story of this movie, based on the true what happened years ago.
Yeah.
I understand why they put her in it.
Yeah.
I'm sure the director did not want to put what really true happened to her in the movie, so they did a twist at the end, which we really can talk about it, but I can see why they put her.
Yeah, but I feel like her scenes really didn't lead to anything.
I know, but...
But there's this one scene that she's going to the movies, this and that. They spent a lot of time focusing on that.
Thing that they did that, now that I read about it, is because the true story, she was murdered,
Right.
The true story. So I think of course, they're not going to show that in the movie, and they did the twist, but... that's why they show that, the time. Remember at the end, it was 11 p.m. or something like that. Every little thing that she was doing that night,
right?
They were showing. So it really had to do with with the true story.
I get that. I just feel like the pacing could have been better. For example, the second act, it just dragged a little bit. It was just floating into nowhere. And then the third act comes along, and I feel like they start rushing it. Like, things starts to get rushed. They even have, like, a narrator explaining what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, 10 o'clock, blah, blah, blah. They're at this restaurant. And it's almost like they started speeding up the movie at the end. Like, it's almost like the director was like, holy shit, I'm running out of time. I got to wrap this movie up. You know what I'm saying?
Not the voice of this. You just literally, your voice just sounded like the narrator.
Like the narrator.
In the movie.
I just changed it. Like,
so
watching
funny.
the movie, I could tell. Like, the director's like, oh my God, we're like 2 hours and 45 minutes in. We got to wrap up this movie. Let's get it going. And then, like, big finale at the end. And then, boom, movie's over.
Yeah.
So I felt like the pacing could have been a lot better.
Yeah.
It could have been cut down. There's some scenes that could have been cut down. Maybe if they cut down this movie to like 2 hours and 20 minutes or 2 hours and 10 minutes, something like that, it just would have been tighter and more enjoyable.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure this movie's going to get nominated, especially Leonardo DiCaprio is going to get nominated for the acting part of it.
True.
You know, but I would say go check it out just because it is based on, I guess, on a true story.
Yeah.
You know, kind of. They don't say that. The movie doesn't say that. But now, you know, if you know the background of what happened, you kind of understand it better.
But overall, also, the movie, I got to say, is well made.
Yeah,
like,
it
they
was.
really captured it, the 60s, like everything, the sets, the cars, the movie sets, the houses, everything. They really captured
Yeah, no, they did that good job with that.
time.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I mean, I wasn't born there.
Production design. It has a lot of production value, quality. It was a well-made film, I gotta say.
Yeah.
You know. So I gotta say, I definitely give it the stamp of approval. To me, it's not super lit, but I give it the stamp of approval.
For me, it's like, go watch it.
Go watch it.
Yeah,
go
watch it. I mean,
it's
you
worth
know, it's worth it.
It's worth
It's worth it just because it has great acting in it.
It really does.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah. So.
Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Let us know what you think about this movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Leave us a comment and see you guys in the next one. Thanks for subscribing. Oh, hit that subscribe button.
Thanks for subscribing, actually.
Thanks for subscribing.
Thank you.
Yes. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Bye.